Greetings, everybody. I just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback on the lecture assignment quizzes. If you've noticed, I've put this in here in Unit 1. This is just basically a reminder of some of the descriptions. So, real quick, remember that lecture quizzes cannot be submitted for late credit. You can take them twice, and that's mainly for technical errors. I might not be able to grade both submissions, especially if you submit them at during the last day. If you submit them early, I'll probably be able to grade both of them. So I will assume that your second submission is the one that you are submitting. If it is at the last minute, meaning in the last few hours it expires. So overall, try not to wait to the last few minutes, because that's usually when things go wrong. But I just wanted you to have that in mind. Also, each quiz is now open, so do try to submit your quizzes early rather than later. Technical problems happen, and it is a summer class, and you never know about the future. You could get sick a little bit here or there, just feeling tired and all of that. So if you're able to work effectively with quality ahead of the schedule, I highly advise you doing that. This right here too, if you don't do well, let me remind you, if you don't do well on the quizzes, say on this quiz you get quiz 1 you get a 60%, quiz 2 you do a little bit better, you've taken better notes, you have a good understanding of the expectations, you end up getting a 95%. What will happen is that 60% for quiz 1 will become a 85%. Because you have a 95% on quiz 2. So the score for subsequent quizzes will replace previous quizzes minus 10%. So if you're within that 10% range, it won't affect the score. But if you missed a quiz or you scored really low on it, it's an opportunity to go back to your notes, since you have to make sure that your notes are up to date, because it will ask you previously assigned learning objectives, so do keep that in mind. Also, this is real important, do take a look at the rubric if you have not done that yet. Right, and just go through this, right? Some of the things you want to be looking for is it responded thoroughly enough. So I've also instituted, if you haven't noticed here, let me push pause for a sec, recommended guidelines for the length, right? So you'll notice here, this is learning objective 2, at least 2 paragraphs. Right, now these are guidelines. It depends on how you write. If you're concise yet thorough with your details, you might be able to get it into less than 2 paragraphs. But generally speaking, it should be at least 2 paragraphs, and do take note at least. So if you find yourself writing above 2 paragraphs, perfectly okay. Just make sure the information you're putting there is pertinent and relative to the response that you're writing to from the content that you're writing to. You are able to refer to previous learning objectives if they connect to the learning objective as well too, so do keep that in mind. The other thing you want to keep in mind is, to the best of your ability, try to pitch your responses in your own words. That'll be very helpful. It's okay in the quizzes to use my words. It's basically just seeing how you take notes and all of that, these quizzes. I'm not too concerned about quote-unquote plagiarism with these, because effectively you're just getting them from our lecture notes. But it's good to always kind of refer to where you got the information from. But if you're able to rephrase the information in your own words, keeping it academic, excellent. This is something that students tend to forget. It's not the most important thing, but it is something that will help you with your scores. Refer to dates. It's a history class, so dates are important. Dates are important because it allows you to begin to understand the larger issues at play and the changes that happen over time. That's a lot of what we're doing with history. We're looking at how things change over time. Right, so you get if you understand, for instance, that tensions develop between the British colonies and their colonies after 1763, you get a good sense of the significance of all of the things that happened from 1763 to 1776. It's a buildup of tensions that ultimately explodes in a revolt and then a movement for independence. Making pertinent connections to other LOOs, I just kind of covered that. So if you see another learning objective that pertains to the one you're specifically responding to, go for it. Of course, make sure it's well organized, it's good grammar and all of that. And then this is something else I want to invite you to keep in mind. You do have a list of primary sources that are available and required to refer to for your unit essay exams. What is a primary source? A primary source is a document, an artifact, a newspaper, a letter, anything from the time that you were studying, right? So the Declaration of Independence, that is a primary source. A letter written by Abigail Adams to her husband John Adams in 1776, that is a primary source. Secondary sources are textbook information, documentaries, articles that write about past events, right? So you do have a list of primary documents right here, primary sources. If you are able to include quotes or information or paraphrasing from the primary sources that are pertinent, don't just put it in there just because it's letters and a string of words that can add to your learning objectives. No, make sure it's pertinent. Then this will improve your chances of succeeding. Okay, again, if you need more information on the differences between a primary source and a secondary source, I have this link right here, so please do visit it. Okay, that's about it. Do let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.